Hello, it's Ms. Zeman back again to discuss with you today how to create our works cited page. Our clear learning target is how do I create a works cited page using the MLA format. Now, if you are watching this lesson, we should have already watched how to create your in-text citations. And I'm going to be referring to a few of the resources that we used for that presentation. However, it's not absolutely necessary that you have done that. So either way, welcome. Okay, so when we are creating a works cited page, which is our bibliography, right? It goes at the end of our paper or assignment. The basics that we need to know are the works cited page should be located on a separate page in the back of your work. It's its own page, okay? It needs to be titled works cited, and it does not need to be italicized or underlined. It's just works cited. The page itself is double spaced. We list our entries alphabetically, and the first line is not indented, but the subsequent lines are. Let's see what that looks like. So here are my examples from the in-text citation lesson, right? We have the Loitering in Neverland, The Strangest of Peter Pan from The Guardian by author Michael Newman. And you can see that my title is works cited on the top of my page. And then you can see my first source is the first line of my first source is not indented, but you can see the next two lines are. Okay, and then follow up. The next one is alphabetically listed, and it has this information. Okay, that's just the basics for the page itself. Now let's talk about the basics for the type of source we're going to be looking at. Okay, so if we're looking at a book, and you may still find yourself citing sources, citing your books, okay? Especially if you're using textbooks. So what you want are the author, you want the title, you want the city of the publication or where it was published, who the publisher was, and when it was published, okay? That's all information that you typically find in your title page. The title page, again, is the page that after once you flip the cover open, within the next first or second page, there's a title page. It has all the information. So again, we have the author listed by last name first, the title. The title is italicized. We have the place of publication, which is New York. We have the publisher, which is Picador. And then we have the time in which it was published, which is 2012. That's it. Easy. Books are pretty straightforward. Okay. The basics for citing a website. It gets a little bit more complicated. We need to have the author, if you can find it. We need to have the article title, not now italicized, but in quotes. Okay, and then you need the title of the website or the project or the company that's italicized. And you follow that with the URL or the web address. And then you tell us the date that you accessed it. Okay, so let's go back and look at our Peter Pan example. Remember, we found the author was Michael Newton. Again, I'm writing his last name first, comma, first name, period. Now, in quotations, and look at, I can see an error right here. I put the single quotation and then a double quote at the end, but I can go back and fix that later. The title of the article or the online article was Loitering in Neverland, The Strangest of Peter Pan. Now, the title of the website, or the title of the company rather, is The Guardian. So that, again, that's italicized. And the date of publication was the 7th of October of 2011. Dates are a little bit weird in MLA. They want you to put the day, followed by the month, followed by the year. Now you can see I have my URL, and I'm telling my audience the day that I was able to receive it. And we do that because websites often change fairly rapidly, right? So if it's a website that no longer exists, it might be that, well, it was available on December 2nd of 2020, but if I'm reading it in 2025 and it no longer exists, that's why. Okay, So that's for our website. I have a whole other lesson on how to cite a website if you need to go back and look at that. Okay, now let's talk about what happens if you cite an article. Okay, now by article I mean, in this example, I mean a academic article that you would have maybe been assigned or that you found when doing research for probably a research paper or an essay. So for the article, when citing, the basics for citing, again, the author, and then the title of the article, the title of the container, okay, which that means basically the title of the journal or the title of the magazine, who published it. And then this is a little bit different. You need a volume, an issue, and a year. And then we put the pages. Okay, let me show you what this looks like, all right? Because we haven't talked about articles yet. So I went through the Tennessee Electronic Library and I did a search for Peter Pan, and I found this article. So let's just say that we were going to cite this article. So remember, the first thing I need is my author. Okay, now the nice thing about this database is it's basically just laying out our information for us right here in the front. So we see the author is J.M. Barrie, which remember is the author of the book itself. Okay, it looks like he wrote an article or an excerpt. This is an excerpt from a preface to the play Peter Pan. Okay, well, so we know we would type. Let's go into our works cited page. You know, and I'm going to change this while I'm in here. And this is going to go on top because it starts with B, J, M, period. And now we want the title of the article in quotations. The title of the article is To the Five, a dedication to Peter Pan. So I would type that there. Next, I need the title of the container. Okay, now that's where it gets a little bit trickier. Okay, so where is this? Now, this database is quite nice, and it is telling us that it's in this database called Discovering Authors. So that's where we would put that information. Okay. And then what we need to know, the volume, issue, and year. Let's see if we can't find that. It's on the, well, here it is right here. So they've actually went ahead and created a citation for us. So we have the Barrie J.M. To the Five, a dedication to Peter Pan. Authors, remember that's the container. It was the publisher would be Gale, 2003. It looks like it does not have a volume or an issue number, so we can skip it. And then they are putting a URL, or remember the address to the website, because this is an article that we found online. And then again, the date that it was accessed. So they've already created that citation for us. Now, we are going to be talking about citation generators in our next lesson, okay? So I know what you're thinking, Ms. Zeman, if they're creating citations for me, why am I learning how to do it? And we're going to discuss that in our next lesson. There is a reason. Anyway, but in this case, you can copy and paste. But look at, you can see our formatting is completely different, so we'd have to go back and fix that. Okay, so we have to do that later. All right, let's go back to our lesson. Oh, and here I am showing you my Works Cited page, which again is the Purdue online, where you find all your information. Okay. All right. I'll see you later. Thanks.